Hey everyone, welcome back to Nothing New. I'm just down the road in the 55 and thought I'd do a video of all the little quirky things on this car. There's actually a few. It's an interesting car in a lot of ways. A lot of the idiosyncrasies on this thing are from Gerald, the previous owner. He is the Tri-5 go-to guy in Las Vegas, I believe. Shout out to Gerald if he's listening, or I actually don't think he probably is listening, to be honest. But shout out to anyone that knows Gerald in Las Vegas. So where do we start? Let's start with the body. 55 Chev, 150 sedan utility, which means no back seat. So back seat delete from factory. Didn't actually know about sedan utilities before I bought this car, but they were used or designed or built for businessmen, I guess, that would travel America to do their thing. They'd throw all their luggage and all their goods, I guess, that they were trying to maybe sell or whatever, and throw that at the back, as well as the boot. But the other main thing with sedan utilities is they were a no trim level, so no side trim, no heater, no radio. The lowest option 55 you could get. With that, they were used for drag racing because they were a lot lighter than the other 55s, and also they were cheap because no one wanted them, because they were, sans trim, right? Sand had like nothing in them. But in saying that, like anything similar, there's not that many around anymore because they were used and abused and scrapped or cut up. So they're actually quite a rare car now. So this thing, there's a few quirky things on the body. The boot, the bonnet. Let's start with the bonnet. The bonnet has got a grafted 67 SS Impala scoop on it, so that big teardrop thing. When I first saw it, I thought it was something like a Corvette, but the story goes, and I'll keep this quick, but Gerald, who obviously bought the car off in Las Vegas, he would do a lot of tuning and helping out a lot of guys in the Las Vegas area with their hot rods and their street cars. And this guy rocked up in his SS Impala, and for whatever reason he's taken the bonnet off the car and he's ran it over. So obviously Gerald had a vision, and in exchange for the work that Gerald did on his Impala, he's like, hey, I'll just take the bonnet. The guy's like, yeah, sweet. So that's how this came about. So he grafted that on. The car, he bought the car, I think maybe 20 years ago. And he bought it as a shell. It was out in the desert in Las Vegas, just a complete, absolutely bare shell, nothing on it. And he built it up to, I guess, similar to what you see now. There are a few differences that I've made, but essentially he built the car, got it running, got it as a complete, driving streetable car, and used it as his daily for like 17 years. When I bought the car, it did have mismatched paint and panels and things like that, and I put the red oxide on it and sort of, did a few sort of cosmetic changes just to get it more suitable for a roadworthy in Australia. They're pretty strict here, unfortunately. Boot lid is off a 56 V8. I didn't know there was such a thing, but I don't know if it's, pardon me, I'm not sure if the shape's different or if it's the badges, but that's a 56 boot. It has, what else? Vent. He reversed the vent. You can see the oxy welds. So that vent normally faces backwards. Those vents face the opposite way. So we cut that out and reversed it, which is pretty cool. But essentially, that's pretty much it for outside. Let's go inside. Let's show you the interior. I mean, there's one other thing about the body. It's super rust free. It's super dry. Typical Arizona car, right? Not much of the interior. It's pretty bare bones, which is pretty cool in my eyes. When I first bought the car, it didn't have door trims, nor did it have a roof lining. So I've put them in. The interior light is, I think it's off a Buick or something like that. I did write that down at some point. I do have it somewhere, I'm sure, but the interior's actually it's probably got the most quirkiness about it in terms of, you know, the little changes that he's added. So yeah, you can see there's absolutely no rust in the floors, and super dry body. Fulton gas pedal, actually. That's pretty nice little addition. Hurst shifter, original Hurst shifter. A couple of jewels. There's a lot of little jewels on this car. I love the wear mark on it too. Even the top has a interesting knob. I'm not sure what that's off. Again, he did tell me, but I don't remember. I did write a lot of this stuff down when he was showing me the car, and so I will have it somewhere, but unfortunately I just can't remember right now. So the interior of this thing, like being a 150, you know, wouldn't have had a clock, wouldn't have had a radio, wouldn't have had the chrome trim. It's got Bel Air, I believe, knobs. Moon tacho. So a few additions added there. Steering, when I first bought the car, it had a sports steering wheel on it. And there was a bit of a story behind the sports steering wheel. Gerald found, well, he used to go to this wrecking yard to get parts for all of his Tri-5s and just all of his builds. And there was this sports steering wheel that was on this car. It had been there for years and years, and it had a chain around it. And when he was building this car, he remembered about that sports steering wheel. So we went down to the wreckers and or the scrap yard, and bought that steering wheel. So it took him ages to get the chain off it and clean it up. And it's actually a nice wheel. It came up really nice, but I just wanted to go back to that original steering wheel. So I've got the sports one on my wall in my workshop. What else we got here? Oh yeah, power windows. So again, Gerald fitted the Caddy vent windows, power vent windows. So they're a 59 Caddy mechanism, I believe, and I think they're using a 56 Buick power window regulator. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Get this. So there we go. Check that out. Fast glass. Bzzz. Yeah, crazy, right? Spent a lot of time getting everything going on this car, or getting everything working, I should say. So, you know, heater, wipers, 2-speed, you know, reverse lights, all the dash lights, I've got them working. You know, old cars, there's always something that's not working. I don't think 150s came out with the passenger side sun visor either, so that's obviously an addition. The other thing too, again, I think I mentioned that before. Oh yeah, it's got a heater as well. Heater works. And these lights, these jewels, they light up when the door. There we go, you can see there. There's those 3 on the left, and there's on the far right, you'll see a green one light up. There we go, when I open the door, close the door. Crazy. So they were added by Gerald. He loved a jewel. So there was like I said, the car didn't come with the roof lining, and all along the inner drip rail, I guess you might say, was just jewels that would light up when the door opens. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I fabricated a Lakewood 3-point hoop. So everything, so essentially this car I wanted to build into a I guess a circa 60s nostalgic style race car, you know, drag car. So, going back to when I had the vision for this car, I was looking for a 55 for a long time, for a few years. This thing popped up on eBay. There is actually a story behind that, a really funny, crazy story actually, how I bought this car. I will make another video on that, you guys will love it. But yeah, I was looking for a 55 for a long time. This came up on eBay. I had rear magnesiums ready to go. I had the Cragars. I had a Hilborn mechanical fuel injection ready to go for the small block. So I was just looking for the car itself, and then this thing popped up, and fast forward a year or so, I had a straight axle in it. I put the radius, I did the radius wheel arches. I had the Hilborn on it for a while. The front end, the straight axle was out of a Chev truck. I made it so it was a bolt-in, so I could put the wishbones back in if I wanted to. I didn't want to cut the front. I didn't want to do a front cut, so it was sat, and because of that, it actually sat quite high because of the cross member. Most people actually cut out that front cross member or do a front cut, which gives you more room to, I guess, lower the front of the car and not have it sitting so high. So I sort of, yeah, it actually drove really nice with the straight axle in it, but I didn't like, the nose up look too much. So I went back to wishbones. I sort of wanted to get the front down a little bit, have it a little bit lower with the big pie crusts on the back. It's not a look you often see, and with the fender well headers. So it's gone through a couple of transformations. Yeah, like I said, it's got pie crusts, American Racing magnesiums. These are 1050s, or sorry, 10.0s, 15s. It's got Lakewood traction bars, original Lakewood traction bars, original RSN, original diff, so that's not changed. A few people ask me about the wheel arches or the radius. So I sort of went with, it's a 3/4 round tube that I used to sort of get that shape. I sort of really wanted to hug the tyre and sort of get the guards close to that tyre as possible with minimum gap. It does scrub when you've got a full tank of gas, and especially when you've got someone in it. So if you drive it without a full tank, you're okay. But I think I'm going to put some air shocks in it just to bump it up a little bit when I'm driving it. You can actually see there that was a big drive recently in the last 6 months. So yeah, I don't want to sort of damage those too much, those tyres. They're not cheap. Yeah, so they're 1510s, by the way, those magnesiums. Fronts, Cragar 15.4s, and 9010 shocks in front. It did have, when I bought the car, it did have disc brakes and drop spindles, and I removed the spindles and the brakes, the disc brakes, put the drums back on it because I wanted that narrow track on the front, the original narrow track, just with the little skinnies and a fat sort of track at the back. It sort of gives it that more staunch look. Under the hood, 327, relatively stock, fuelie heads, 30-30 cam, Holley 650 double pumper, fender well headers that I made up. It did have a single pot master cylinder on it when I bought it. I rigged the brakes and put a dual pot on there just for safety. Removed the inner guards. It had inner guards when I bought the car. And yeah, a few little, like I said, a few little quirky things, little jewels everywhere. They generally light up when you have the car on, ignition on or something like that. But an pretty original old 55. You can sort of see here the underside of that hood scoop. sort of metal finished, really. He did a great job, Gerald. Shout out to Gerald. Metal, oh that's right, metal redual point. Only modern thing on the car, unfortunately, is the manifold. High-rise manifold. That rock covers upside down. Just noticed that. Yeah. I guess that's about it. Seats. Did I mention the seats? Seats are sedan deliveries. 54. Sorry, not sedan. 54 delivery seats. I'll do a quick rip around of the passenger side here. So he made another thing. He made these little plaque things and these little surrounds. Crazy, right? I'm keeping the floors and sort of the interior pretty basic like this. I like the rawness of it. I did the rear windows. They're just using, you know, eBay tint, green tint. Yeah. Well, I think that's it, guys. I'm sure there's other things that I've forgotten about, and I'll remember as soon as I upload this video. But I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you know Gerald from Las Vegas. Hopefully he's still around. He was an elderly man at the time. So I hope Gerald's doing well if he's out there. Throw me a like, throw me a comment, tell me what you think. Alright guys,